Welcome, viewers. I'm Braulio Rosa, Executive Director of the Broward County Bar Association. It is my honor and privilege to be interviewing Judge Michael Robinson for our Black History program that the Broward County Bar Association does in coordination and partnership with the 17th Judicial Circuit. Judge Robinson, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Braulio. And thank you to the Broward County Bar Association and the board.
It's our pleasure, Your Honor. So Judge Robinson, can you tell us a little bit about when you first joined the bench? Were you appointed, elected, and what was that process like?
Appreciate it. First of all, I served as a general magistrate in the Family and Dependency Division. And in 2010, the governor appointed me, Governor Chris, appointed me to the bench, the Circuit Court bench. That was one of the final moments of my career.
It's outstanding. And so what division do you currently serve in?
I'm actually now in the civil division, and I'm handling complex litigation as well as tobacco cases, medical malpractice cases, wrongful death cases, multi-million-dollar cases.
You said you had been a magistrate beforehand, just to kind of follow up, and it was families. Can I assume that you also served at some point in the family division as a circuit judge?
No. When I got appointed, the chief judge actually immediately appointed me to the criminal bench. I served on the criminal bench for actually a little more than 7 years. And then Chief Judge Tudor came aboard, of course, as chief judge. He was elected, and he switched me to the civil bench.
You'd think they put you in family, but
that's okay.
Yeah.
we got fine judges in family right now. Excellent judges.
We do. Judge, actually, we hadn't talked about this, but I wanted to ask, tell us where you're from, your family, and what was your upbringing like, actually?
It was a tough upbringing, but interestingly enough, Fort Lauderdale has been basically on television and basically portrayed as the city of where the boys are, and in the 60s, of course, where we had spring break. I was born and raised here in Fort Lauderdale, and I don't know anything about what happened in spring break. We didn't get a chance to go to the beach. We were not allowed to go to Fort Lauderdale Beach. My mom was a maid, and my dad was a hardworking construction worker. That's where I got my work ethic from. Those two basically made ends meet. When there was no doubt about it, we didn't have money sometimes to pay the bills or to feed the family of 6 boys. And we were in the green projects, as they say, off of Broward Boulevard. But one of the things that you can appreciate when you're in this particular environment, Braulio, we were poor, but we didn't know we were poor. And we didn't go lacking for food or clothes. And that was the environment that you came up in. Though it was rough, though we were provided hand-me-downs from other people and families, we were not portrayed, we did not have the sense that we were poor and unable to achieve. So I'm born and raised in Fort Lauderdale. It's not a big city. It's a country town as we came up in. And I graduated from Dillard High School here in Fort Lauderdale.
It's interesting how you said you grew up poor, but you didn't know that you were poor, which probably you were prideful all the time. I'm guessing it. You never felt like you were less than because you didn't think you were poor in that sense.
That is absolutely true. We did not have that sense of wantonness. We didn't want for anything. Mom and dad did what they could. Funny, one of the private schools recruited me to attend a private high school, attend here in Fort Lauderdale, attend the school, and they charged $25 to $100 a month for attendance. And I was in middle school at the time. Back then, we called it junior high school. And I went home and told Mom. I said, Mom, I want to go to such and such. And she said, how much is it going to be? And I said, $50 a month. And she said, I make $50 a week. You must be crazy. So I didn't get a chance to go to, I did not get a chance to go to that private high school. So we went to the best high school. I consider Dillard High School the best high school at that time in Broward County.
I'm a public school kid too, so I get it. I totally get it. So talking about cultural diversity, that's a perfect segue. Do you think it's important to have cultural diversity in our bench?
It is imperative. You must have cultural diversity. You must have racial diversity. You must have sexual diversity. You must have culture is huge, but we live in the most diverse country on the planet, and of course, Florida is one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse state in this union, and that's our strength. That's our nation's strength. It impacts the perception that we have to the public. Obviously, when you have, give an example, Braulio, when you study school boards throughout the nation, and you look at South Florida, you may have 33%, 40% Black and brown students attending schools in public schools in Broward as well as Dade. And now it's increasing. Now you have 55%. And you must have teachers that look like these students culturally. You must have the same type of cultural diversity so that students can relate to this educational experience that we're giving. Same thing with justice. If you want justice to truly be blind, then you must have judges that look like the folk that come through the justice system, come through the courtrooms, come through the courthouses, looking like those folk that they're serving. And it's very comfortable when you come in and you're a Black defendant, or you're Black, in my case, Black civil plaintiff, and you look around and you see a Black judge and a Black bailiff. You may see a Black clerk. You have Blacks on the jury. You have a sense. It's a perception of fairness, a perception, if you will, of justice going to reign in this environment. And that wasn't always true, as you know. Blacks would come to the courtroom and you have a different environment. And oftentimes, whether justice was reigning in that particular courtroom, rendering in that particular courtroom, the judge making decisions, it didn't feel right. It wasn't fair. It didn't feel fair. So we must have diversity of kind, diversity culturally, diversity even in our investments, whether we're talking about homes or whether or not we're talking about jewelry, but certainly our kids. That's an investment. So that's what makes America great.
So you touched on something that was in the back of my mind, that Broward County is a majority minority county. So I guess if you were to count the Black and brown community, that's well over 50%. And so do you think we've done a decent job here in Broward County increasing that proportionality of diverse cultural judges on the bench?
I think we have to strengthen our approach and strengthen our resolve to increase diversity. And I've had this conversation with judges throughout the state, in fact, but certainly with our chief judge, and he's committed to having a diverse bench, whether it's through the electoral process or the appointed process. The appointment process is very crucial because obviously you're going through The governor's office is politically charged, but he's very, very committed to that. And I think when you have a chief judge or folks that are committed to having a diverse bench, understanding the value of having a diverse bench, you cannot do anything but improve. And we've had improvement, and it's going to continue to improve. So the numbers regarding Black and Brown judges will definitely increase. You've seen it in Hispanic judges. You've seen it in Black judges here in Broward County, and hopefully we'll continue that.
Agreed. You had talked a little bit about being a magistrate before you became a judge. Can you talk about a little bit about what you did lawyering before you became a magistrate?
I actually had a very diverse type background. I went to Haddad Joseph's down in Miami. It was a defense firm, great defense firm in downtown Miami. We moved to Coral Gables. It became Haddad Joseph and Jack. I joined the public defender's office here in Broward County because I was living in Broward, going all the way down to Coral Gables and doing my research at the University of Miami every day. So I blew up my car on 95. So I ended up in the public defender's office, and John Krupnick called me in and hired me at Krupnick Campbell. So I went from a civil defense boutique, doing a whole lot of asbestos litigation, and going to the public defender's office, where, of course, that is all criminal, and it's the largest, if you will, if you want to compare that with legal aid. It's the legal aid arm on the criminal side. And then I went to Krupnick Campbell, and we did exclusively personal injury and wrongful death cases. So that's what I did. And then after Krupnick Campbell, for 16 years, I had my own solo practice, Michael A. Robinson, PA. And that was personal injury, wrongful death cases, criminal, and I represented corporate clients like North Broward Hospital District. What
motivated you to change? You seem to have been very successful in your legal practice. And so what motivated you to seek that judgeship?
It's what we just discussed, diversity. There was not enough Black judges on the bench. Years ago, we had T.J. Reddick, Alcee Hastings, we had Henry Latimer, and Zebedee Wright. Those were the 4 judges we had on the bench. After Henry Latimer, we had Mary Robinson came. She was the first Black female judge in Broward County's history. Then we had Carol Taylor and Alona Holmes, who we are very, very pleased to have had. Very fortunate to have those women as judges here in Broward County. Alona is retired, Carol is retired, Mary is retired. Well, it came to a point where we didn't have a Black judge, male judge, for about 20 years. And Elijah Williams became that judge after 20 years of vacancy. And I decided then, after he became a judge, that we probably need to have more Black representation. And I followed Ken Gillespie. Ken Gillespie was a magistrate. Both of us were serving as magistrates, and we both became judges. And we applied, and Elijah did too, most of us, through the appointment process, and the governor appointed all 3 of us. I think Gillespie and I were appointed by Governor Chris, and Judge Bush appointed Elijah Williams years before. So that was really something that I wanted to do. And to be frank with you, the chief judge came to me and actually asked me, encouraged me to go ahead and apply for the magistrate position and the judgeship. So we tend to think that we do things on our own. We tend to think that we get to places where we are on our own and we pull up our own bootstraps, by our own bootstraps. So that's not the case. There's always someone that's helping us along the way. It could be a teacher, it could be a chief judge, it could be your dad, your mom, an aunt, just helping you along and then helping you pull those bootstraps up. And that's what happened to me. Some people who prayed a lot for me, people who said, look, you need this, you qualified, and we understand everything is meritorious, but it's a timing thing too. So why don't you consider it now while you're successful? And that's what I did.
No, I didn't know. So you've been on since 2010. What has changed over these last 11 years? Anything? Seems like we've seen a big increase in minority judges now. Or
that is number one. When you look at what's happening with the judiciary, you have Hispanic and Black judges and magistrates. That's an increase in number. It's a welcome increase in number. And I think we're better off, obviously, for having these quality judges serving on the bench. And some of them will be elevated to appellate positions as well as the federal positions. They're just that good. That's the main thing. Obviously, we have, I think when you look at providing the avenue for excess of the court system, that's what the Supreme Court is committed to. That's what we all are committed to, making sure that those who need to access our system of justice have that chance. So you have many more pro se litigants than we did before. We have had to open our doors, accessing these folk, making sure that they have their day in court, more so than ever before. And yet now we're battling the CDC guidelines, the pandemic. We're not battling the CDC guidelines, but including those and infusing a system that we have returned to the courtrooms to make sure that the pandemic does not cause a complete collapse. And that's huge. That's why I'm being interviewed right now by you while I'm sitting in the courtroom, because we're busy. We have to open up. That's the other thing. We've had challenges that no other court system has had to deal with. And the battles are being won because of the commitment of those who work in the system, not only judges, but the clerk. You got BSO in Broward, you got Miami-Dade and other law enforcement in Dade. We all have to work as a team. And you know more than probably anyone else how that collaborative effort can come up with success. We have to work together. So you have asked a very important question, and it's going to always be changes. We're going to always have to adapt. Not that I'm going to give you anything. This is not something that may shock people, but in the next 3 or 4 months, we're going to have all kinds of changes to Florida's judicial system, civil and criminal, particularly the civil. The Supreme Court is changing, making changes, modifying our civil procedure rules. And I'll give you just one hint. It ain't gonna be good for lawyering or being a judge in terms of what we're used to. Continuances are going to be almost outdated. It's going to be very hard to get a continuance in a trial. So that's going to put pressure and pain on the judges as well as the lawyers. And that's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with. It's a different ball game. It's a different era. And we have so many cases that we have to deal with on the county bench as well as circuit. So it's just good to have good judges, Braulio. It's good to have good judges ready and willing to work hard and make a difference. And we have that in Broward.
We certainly do. And everything, I wish we could dig deeper on what you talked about, but that's for an interview on another day where we're going.
Yeah.
I'd like to segue into knowledge is power. So what do you think are the right kind of qualities or the best qualities that a judge can have? And this is great advice for anyone aspiring to be a judge. And hopefully we have, everyone, but especially some minority lawyers out there that are listening to this.
And you actually combined two things that are very important, particularly with young lawyers. They need mentors. They need the right mentorship, the right law firm, the right lawyer, the right judge to help mentor them and teach them the ropes. Open up the courtroom and let them sit and watch what's going on, as I encourage people all the time. I have hundreds of folk doing a quarter, certainly doing a year, to come in and just sit and watch trials, watch hearings. That's important. But you have to have the ability to listen. Shut up, listen. You have to be able to make decisions, tough decisions, but make decisions, because lawyers need to know whether or not they need to appeal, whether or not they've won, whether or not they've lost, but you make timely decisions. You have to have the appropriate temperament. You can't let everything rile you. You can't get angry. You can't lose your mind on the court. Be even-tempered. You have to have a keen intellect, and everybody is smart. Younger people, I encourage them to definitely go to law school, go to med school. They're the smartest generation the planet has ever known, technology-wise and others. But you have to have a keen intellect, a knowledge of the law, a love of the law. I think you have to be genuine, have to have patience, a lot of patience, because cases don't come to you and be resolved immediately. You don't make, very seldom on the civil bench do you see cases resolving in months. Sometimes they take years. We have tobacco cases that were filed in 2008, 2009. And that's an anomaly, but it's part of your workload, and the ability to discern right from wrong, like parents have to do. You have to be able to discern right from wrong. And finally, when all said and done, because you got to make rulings, your rulings are based on the law and the facts of each case. You have to attack. Just remember that this is one case, factual, and the law. Apply the law to those facts. And I think when all said and done, whether you're on the criminal bench, family bench, or civil bench, probate, whatever division you're in, always do the right thing. Apply the law to the facts and do the right thing.
Good advice, Your Honor. Definitely. So we've talked about all the substantive stuff. I wanted to end this on a light note, and so you could reveal as much as you want or as little as you'd like. So here's my question, and I'm going to kind of throw them all together, and you can pick. Tell us what your hobby is, or how you relax on your off time, and/or favorite music and favorite food.
I like to read, and I like to fish. I like to spend time with family. I'm taking the daughters. They're all in town now. I'm taking them shopping, and I'm gonna watch them spend my money. So I like being just a facilitator of other folk happiness, and that can be giving time, volunteering. I love that. So that's my hobby. My favorite food, I love oxtails. I love chicken, all chicken, and most desserts. I love that. But smooth jazz, Temptations. I went to Temptations and Four Tops concert a few nights ago at the Broward Performing Arts Center. But My Girl and all those hits in Motown, I love it. Smokey Robinson Miracles, Ooh Baby, all those songs. But smooth jazz also is a way for me to relax. I love smooth jazz.
I enjoy jazz, and of course, who doesn't love Motown? Come on, iconic.
Man, you gotta love Motown. I shook hands with Otis Williams, and he is the last surviving member of Temptations. Been there. I think he just turned 80. Wow. But it was just an incredible thing. But that's my favorite group of all time. So, but fishing, whether it's bass fishing or going out hooking up a amberjack, it doesn't matter.
Sounds like a nice way to relax.
Absolutely, and a nice way to get frustrated too. I didn't know how to you'd be real frustrated if you don't catch any fish.
No, absolutely.
Again, you got to have patience, man. You got to have, and do the right thing. Sometimes you got to just fold them. Know when to fold them.
Judge, you're supposed to. This is relaxation time, not when you're going to get stressed out. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but you got to have something got to hit that hook, man. Sometimes, you have that doggone thing. The cork has to bob and weave. You can catch something. You have to have some product of your relaxation and work.
Judge, thanks for spending time with me. Full disclosure, Judge Robinson and I are good friends, and he's our liaison here at the Broward County Bar Association, and we're lucky to have him. He's the kind of guy that you could definitely depend on, and anytime I need his help, he's there for me. So Judge Robinson, thank you for your service to the Broward Bar and to the entire community of Broward County. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Appreciate your time, appreciate your commitment, Braulio, and with the Broward County Bar. This is we're fortunate to have you, but this is the best time in the history of Broward County Bar because of your tenure, your expertise, man, and your leadership. So appreciate it.
I'm humbled. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a wonderful Merry Christmas.
My brother. Yep. Same to you.